All right, good evening, folks. We're going to call to order the June 12th, 2024 meeting of the Santa Monica Planning Commission. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Commissioner Lambert, would you like to lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, let's do a roll call.
Commissioner Fresco?
Here.
Commissioner Hamilton?
Here.
Commissioner Lambert?
Here.
Commissioner Landris?
Here.
Commissioner Reese?
Present.
Commissioner Tolkien?
Here.
And Chair Raskin.
Here. Before we go to the Planning Director's report, I understand that we have a motion regarding agenda management.
Yeah, sure. I wonder how colleagues would feel about moving item 11A onto the consent calendar. We received no public comment, and it seems entirely code compliant. So I'd move that to the agenda, to the consent calendar. Great. The DR.
Oh, good job.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Seeing none, can we take a vote?
Any objection from the applicant?
Commissioner Fresco?
Yes.
Commissioner Hamilton?
Yes.
Commissioner Lambert?
Yes.
Commissioner Landris?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
And Commissioner Tolkien?
Yes.
And Chair Raskin.
Yes. All right, let's go ahead to the Planning Director's report.
Go Celtics.
Wait, I take it back.
All right, ready? Yep. Good evening, Commission. So upcoming for the Planning Commission, the July 3rd and July 17th meetings are canceled. The August 6th special meeting, the location will be confirmed. It will likely be at the main public library with early start because we do have to vacate the building pretty early, 7 something or
7:45.
7:45. So that meeting will have to end before 8. Let's see, a couple of things coming up are scheduled for that meeting. Santa Monica Place Digital Billboard Development Agreement. So we're working on that and plan to bring it to the commission in August. And then for August 7th, the next night, Housing Element Phase 2 implementation recommendations. So those are back-to-back meetings for the commission. June, let's see, Housing Element Phase 2 implementation engagement opportunities. So adaptive reuse ordinance, June 6th, the technical working group. Study session, June 11th, city council study session, that was last night. Bergamot objective design Standards Project, July 8th, Technical Working Group, July 15th, ARB Study Session. And then just a reminder about the Boards and Commissions demographic survey. And then recent City Council actions. So June 11th, last night, Housing Element Study Session, like I mentioned. And then last night, they also adopted emergency IZO for updates to our massage regulations and ordinances. It turned out it was pretty strict and wouldn't allow massage establishments within a certain distance of each other, so that like if one hotel had massage services, another one next door would be precluded because of the distance requirement. So council adopted that last night, and because it was an emergency IZO, it went into effect immediately. And then coming up at City Council, next meeting is June 25th, and the main topic for that night is the budget adoption. So, concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions.
Great. Commissioner Reese?
One question on the 6th of August. Is that the only item on our agenda is the digital billboards?
Yes, it is.
Just checking, because that's one I'm going to miss.
Okay.
Okay.
Make sure it
Yeah.
wasn't a housing element one.
Yeah, the housing element's on the 7th. Yeah.
Yep.
Great. Any additional questions? Commissioner Landers?
No, you know what, I'll leave it, it's fine.
Okay. Great. Seeing no other questions, we'll move on to Planning Commissioner announcements. And before I turn to my colleagues, I'm going to announce the public comment procedures. Requests to speak on an agenda item must be submitted on a speaker's request form and submitted to the Commission Secretary. All requests to address the Commission on public hearing items must be submitted prior to the Commission's consideration of the item. Do any of my colleagues have any announcements? Seeing none, do we have any public input on non-agenda items? Great, seeing none, we'll move to the consent calendar. First, let me ask my colleagues, the first is to ask for ex partes, right? Yeah. Let me ask my colleagues if anybody has any ex partes with respect to either item 7A or the former 11A, which is now being considered as part of the consent calendar. Commissioner Fresca?
I received an email from the applicant asking me if I had any questions, and I did not.
Great, and that's for the 1645 Euclid project?
Yes, I had a 30-minute or so Zoom call with CJ Laffer and the team at Redcar to discuss the project on Euclid, and it was a general overview of the project with a couple questions, but mostly informational, and that's all. Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
I exchanged emails with CJ. He inquired as to whether I had questions and wanted to meet, and my answer was no.
CJ emailed me first to ask me and then to nudge me, and I replied saying that I didn't have anything to ask, and why wasn't this on consent?
Commissioner Reese?
I got the same email of, do you have questions? And I responded, I do not. And that was the extent of it.
Commissioner Tolkien? No. I'm going to say ditto to what Commissioner Reese said. All right. Would anybody like to pull any items from the consent calendar? All right. Anybody like to make a motion to approve the consent calendar? Or I'm sorry, do we have any public comments on the consent calendar? No. Okay. I'll enter.
Move the adoption. I move the consent calendar.
Second.
Any discussion? I didn't miss anything, did I? All right, let's go ahead and take a vote.
Commissioner Fresco?
Yes.
Commissioner Hamilton?
Yes.
Commissioner Lambert?
Yes.
Commissioner Landris?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Tolkien?
Yes.
And Chair Raskin?
Yes. Great. All right. I think the next thing on our agenda are Planning Commission discussion items. We've got 2 items here. The first was shared by Commissioner Lambert. Would you like to speak to that?
I'm not sure, is that a discussion item or just something I sent to you guys? I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Bottom line is there's virtually no money at the state level for low-income housing at this point. So whatever we can generate locally, we should do.
Great.
I will say that I'm told from an email I read yesterday that there's a state LIHTC credit program that has been temporary and is now going to become permanent. And
Tax credits?
And it's still alive.
Well, the problem
Whether
is,
it has money is a different question, but it is still
no,
alive.
I think he did put the tax credit money back in. The problem is you need to leverage tax credit money with other money. And the HCD money seems to be illusory. I also found the city of LA has a lot of money in their ULA fund, the transfer tax fund, but it's on hold until the court proceedings are finished. I have no idea what we have from GS, if anything. No one seems to, I keep meaning to write finance and I haven't done that.
Can I ask, and this is not, we don't need to have this as a presentation, but it would be super interesting for us to know what our share is going to be of La Casa money when that agency is finally stood up, even as an info item. That just would be helpful to understand.
And Commissioner Lambert, did you want to say anything about social housing in Vienna? There was a second.
I just really put that there for information because I think, it's been discussed at council, kind of. And I think it would really be good at some point in the future if the Planning Commission had a study session on social housing.
Great.
Because I think it's definitely worth discussing.
In Vienna or in Santa Monica?
We're all going to Vienna.
Okay.
I know. No, clearly, whether it's applicable to Santa Monica, whether we recommend pursuing it, and if so, what would the code changes necessary be if we were interested in pursuing it?
Is that appropriate, really, to expand our horizons?
Go to Vienna?
To just learn new things?
That's a good question. I think we need to think about it.
Okay, good. I concur.
All right.
Like learning to love the Celtics? I don't think I can get behind that.
Any other Planning Commission discussion items folks want to bring up for the future or tonight? No? Great. Well, I think we've set a new land speed record tonight.
Quick, adjourn us.
But really, thank you to even for the staff report on what was 11A. It was a really good staff report. And
May I add something? I want to thank you for the cookies. I don't think either Ellis or I know whether or not this is our last meeting, but we really appreciate the cookies.
I think you should adjourn so that we will have a record because.
Yes, quick.
Yes.
indeed. All right. With that, let's adjourn at 6:12 p.m. Thank you.
And that makes it 11 minutes, which is our record. The last record I've known is 17 minutes. So this is a true record. I keep track of this.
Thank you, everyone.
And now I wish I hadn't eaten those cookies because I'm going to have dinner soon.
I ate dinner. I thought.